Okay, in this episode, we will talk about the issue on, legal issue, no? Legal issue of the Duterte arrest. Medyo tong issue na to eh. Pero gusto ko lang i-point out, no, first of all, as much as possible, we would like to maintain the middle ground, okay? And just state the facts, no? So yun yung number one natin gustong sabihin dito. Second of all, itong petition na to ay nasa Supreme Court na. So, syempre, in the end, whatever the Supreme Court rules, yan yung may highest acceptability and may authority yan, no? In our land to interpret the law, no? So, I'm just a person who is analyzing the events based on the researches that I have done, no? So, first of all kasi, yung pagkahuli, medyo ako ay naranasan ko din yan. So medyo meron pa akong konting rito, no, kwento. When I was younger, nasa bangko ko, merong mga masasamang tao na nangutang, tapos ginamit nila yung aking cheque kasi wala daw silang may pasang cheque. But eventually, sabi nila, no, kukunin nila yung cheque ko. So ang mali ko naman doon, syempre nga, tiwala ka, mga kaibigan mo yun sa bangko, no? Tapos pa ako nun batang-bata pa ako. I'm naive na ba ako nung taon, 26, 27 years old. So they made use, kasi wala nga silang cheque, saka hindi ko nalaman naman doon na talagang hindi na pala siya makakautang, kaya ginagamit nila yung account ng ibang tao. Itong isa namang kaibigan ko, di wala siyang cheque, nang hiram sa akin, no? So yung cheque ko ang ginamit. Kung tutusin, hindi ako ang hindi ako ang borrower, hindi rin ako co-borrower. Siya ang co-borrower. Kaso, ginamit na yung cheque ko. So, in a way, technically speaking, lagi akong co-borrower. So, I didn't know na hindi na pala siya nakakabayad. Tapos, pinalis na ng kaso. Siyempre, yung cheque ko nandun. Cut the long story short, bouncing checks ang niya sa akin para makakolekta siya. Kasi, hindi siya makakolekta sa tao eh. Wala na talagang pambayad yung taong yan sa dami ng kanya naging utang. So, in short, ako yung inaresto ng NBI. And because of that, hindi naman nila ako sinabihan. So sabi nga ng ibinanta ko, yun ba yung ika, yung nandun sa may harapan? Oo, mukha pa lang, estapada, sabi ng aking NBI. Hindi ako nagsasabi ng pangalan dito Saka ito ay merong facts of the case ito, no? So hindi ako nag-file ng kaso against sa inyong mga tao kayo. So siguro naman I can share my version of the case. Kasi for a long time, talaga ako doon ako'y, siyempre nabalisa ka, hanggang sa alam nyo ba ako nagbayad nung utang na yon. At eventually, pati interest, 136,000, ganyan. Na-waive na lang yung penalty, pero in the first place, hindi ko naman utang yun. And yet ako'y nagbayad. Walang ginawa yung mga tao doon sa bangko because pamangkin siya ng isang mataas na opisyal. Tapos, I don't know, maybe it's because sino ba naman ako, isang maliit na tao lamang, no? So I had to recourse to resign kasi everyday nakikita mo sila doon, nakikipagtawanan ka sa mga taong, So in short, na nangyari doon, sabi nga nung term ng NBI sa akin is, sir, na railroad ka. Pwede ka naman pong sana sinabihan nila para nakapaghanda ka man lang. Kasi meron na palang warrant of arrest, no? So, ni-railroad. Tapos, in short, nagbayad ako ng bail. Tapos, Friday pa nun, mabuti na lang may pera yung magulang ko. Siyempre, hindi ko na sinabi sa kanila later on, no? Kasi malapit yung mga anak niya dun sa mother ko. Sabi ko, sa dulo na lang ganun pala. Sama naman ng taong yan, no? Pagkatas natin pakitaan ng Tapos, all through the years, nising kong duling, wala akong nakuhang bayad doon. Para bang as if, na lang nila na okay na yan. No? Kasi si George naman parang in short, wala talagang naging bayad. So because of that, nakaka-connect ako dito sa nangyari kay Duterte in the same way na, 'di ba? Lalo na siya dahil siya ay dating presidente. Tapos meron na palang warrant of arrest, no? Tapos Interpol pa ginamit na she was arrested. And ang sabi nga doon, meron dapat kasing rule, no? Na dapat, meron kasing due process Dapat ilalagay ka doon sa court na competent or with competent authority, no? Para maging yung arrest niya ay compliant with the due process. No? So, kailangan merong competent authority. However, syempre, dun sa point na yon, ang sinasabi nila is, ni Marcos, yung part ng government, na nag-issue naman ng warrant of arrest naman, tapos, yung question whether the DOJ or any Philippine authority can determine compliance. Yung authority kasi, sabi nila, DOJ naman is the competent authority in this case. No? So parang ang point natin dito is yung intended meaning ng competent authority in legal matters. Dapat should refer to strictly a judicial court with jurisdiction. Hindi executive agency like a DOJ na sila mismo nagsabi na quasi-judicial function na hindi naman actually nagtatry ng cases. Kasi if that is the case, then the DOJ assertion that due process was followed might not hold up into a stricter legal scrutiny. No, kasi yung broader debate dyan, lalo doon sa Rome Statute in 2019, ang sabi nila doon, yung ICC argues, di ba nag-withdraw na tayo sa Rome Statutes in 2019. Yung ICC argues that it retains jurisdiction over alleged crimes committed while the country was still a member. So okay lang yun, no? Pero ang point natin doon is dapat ang term natin is that yung bang ICC yung nag-intervene, kailangan ba natin sila? No? Yun yung point kasi nangyayari lang yung ICC intervention for companies na nag-fail na yung kanilang legal system wherein they are incapable of addressing any allegation to these people. So the key question is whether yung Philippine judiciary has been or will be willing to able to conduct a fair and independent investigation. So yung critics will argue that domestic mechanism haven't held high-ranking officials accountable, which is why the ICC stepped in. Like for example, in some cases in other countries, that's what happened, no? But if the DOJ and courts were to take real action, it could strengthen the case that international intervention isn't necessary. Dahil hindi naman tayo failed state, you know? So, ito yung arguments natin, no? So, first of all, ano ba yung intention of the law? Kasi they're always saying na yung principle of jurisdiction and domestic competency ng court, di ba, ay na-fulfill because of the DOJ, di ba? So, yung issuance ng International Criminal Court of Justice, ICC, arrest warrant, merong mga critical legal questions dyan, particularly regarding the proper authority for such actions and the intent of relevant statutes governing jurisdiction and due process. No? So, while some argue that the ICC has the authority to act under the Rome Statute, we have to look at the legal examination. Let's see if the Philippine judicial system remains the legitimate venue for addressing such matters. So first of all is the intention of the law. I would argue that ano ba yung intention of the law? Kasi pag tinignan mo yung mga pwede kang magpilosopo sabihin mo, well, competent authority naman ng DOJ. It has a quasi-judicial function. However, ang laging tanong sa law to test it is whether the DOJ is a competent authority as a judicial body. Ano ba yung intention nung law? Okay? So while the DOJ is exercising a quasi-judicial function, it is not a judicial body per se, no, in the strict sense. The term competent authority in legal proceedings, particularly when referring to due process and arrest warrants, is generally understood to mean the court of law with proper jurisdiction, not an executive agency. Kasi alam nyo, mahirap na gawin natin yon. Kumbaga, pag ganun ang gagawin natin na DOJ okay na, in the future, wala na, pwede nang isuspend ang suspend habeas corpus, and then eventually pag hinuli ipapasa lang sa DOJ tas diretso na sa ICC. Lagi lahat 'yan, 'di ba? Okay 'yun kung nagfe-fail na yung judicial system natin. And by this, para nating sinasabi na meron na tayong failure ng judicial system. Kaya pag tinignan natin ang Supreme Court, teka, baka mamaya this would mean that the judicial system in the Philippines have failed miserably, and therefore we needed the ICC to intervene with the police force nevertheless accompanying, because we can no longer try this person, this criminal, quote unquote, and that's why we needed to bring him to ICC. Diba? But if you look at our constitution itself, no, under the Philippine law, only judicial courts have the power to issue warrants of arrest. If you will look at it, no, Article 3, Section 2, 1987, the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures or whatever nature and for any purpose should be inviolable, and no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall issue except upon probable cause to be determined personally by the judge after examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witness he may produce. Ngayon ang tanong, ganun na ba talaga nasadlak yung ating judicial system, yung ating government, na wala na ang kailangan ay DOJ? Diba? The provision makes it clear that the judge, not the DOJ or any executive body, is the appropriate authority to determine probable cause and issue warrants. So sabihin natin, hindi Interpol yung nag-issue Oo, kahit pa, kasi ang ICC, Interpol, whatever, they are also following the sovereignty of the nation. Hindi yan basta-basta magse-step in, di ba, kung hindi mo sila talaga inallow, right? So the ICC follows its own procedural framework. Its application of competent authority must be reconciled with the sovereign nation's legal system. Okay? So number 2, yung ICC's questionable jurisdictions following the Philippines withdrawal. So the Philippines formally withdrew from the ICC on March 17, 2019 after the then President Duterte administration expressed concerns over its perceived interference in domestic affairs. So according to the Article 127 of the Rome Statute, a state's withdrawal does not affect ongoing investigations into crimes committed while the state was a party. However, the application of this provision remains contentious as the Philippine government asserts that jurisdiction over internal legal matters belongs solely to its national courts. So legal scholars will argue that for international jurisdiction to override domestic authority, there must be clear evidence of a state's unwillingness or inability to prosecute alleged crimes, as outlined in the Article 17 of the Rome Statute, the principle of complementarity. Meron ganun pong principle. Yung Philippines under President Marcos Jr. has always maintained that domestic mechanisms are in place. Kasi kung di parang sinasabi mo na yung gobyerno mo ay wala ng pwersa. The fact na inaamin mo na meron naman tayong mechanism in place, this should preclude the ICC intervention. So parang nasa dilemma ang government, no? So meaning, ang ICC kailangan mag-interpret. So are you saying that your government is a failed state? Diba? So the ICC itself has acknowledged this in previous cases. For example, in Prosecutor versus Gaddafi, sorry, may example ko, puro mga talaga matitindi. ICC 01-11, if a state is actively investigating or prosecuting an individual for similar crimes, the ICC must defer to the national judicial process unless clear non-compliance is proven. O, di ba? Ngayon, nakikita mo ICC, pasa't i-question mo siya, bibitawan niya yan. Kasi siya mismo nagsabi niyan, unless gusto niya talagang pumapel at para maging remain, kumbaga, parang into this. Parang alam mo yun, parang relevant. To remain relevant, kailangan niyang i-exert yung power niya. Pero sila mismo nagsabi na kailangan yung national judicial process, pag hindi na siya compliant at inaamin ng country na hindi siya kayang ilitis yan, saka lang sila magsa-step in. Number 3, sovereignty in the primacy of domestic justice. According to the Article 2, Clause 1 of the United Nations Charter, the organization is based on the principle of sovereign equality of all its members. Okay, the principle suggests that international institutions should not supersede a state's internal legal processes without clear justification. So the Philippine Supreme Court, papaalala natin sa Supreme Court to in cases such as Pimentel versus Office of the Executive Secretary, GR number 158088-2005, in-emphasize ng Philippine Supreme Court that the need to uphold national sovereignty in legal and policy decisions. The argument against the ICC's jurisdiction is not necessarily a defense of Duterte's actions, but rather a defense of the country's ability to handle its own legal matters. Allowing the ICC to issue an arrest warrant and intervene could set a precedent that undermines the authority of the Philippine court. So, ibig sabihin, pag inallow natin yun, ibig sabihin, ang Supreme Court will be incompetent anymore, no? Or the courts will be incompetent anymore. Kasi ginagawa lang yan sa mga failed states. O halimbawa, meron na pabagsak na diktador. Dito, clearly, he's not a dictator because he even allowed the election and he did not even run. His daughter, who's supposed to run, did not run for presidency, telling you, folks, that he is not after power. In fact, the fact that he is still living, in a very, let's say, hindi naman siya mayaman yung kanyang circumstances. If you will look at his house in Davao, and the fact na nahuli siya, wala siyang way para ma-protect. Mabuti pa yung mga mafia boss hindi nahuhuli. Siya nahuli, di ba? So I think doon medyo may problema tayo dyan. So we are clearly just prosecuting him for the sake of, politics. Ganyan. So the ICC argues that it retains jurisdiction. Yes, totoo naman yun. Pero the interpretation of competent authority na ang DOJ role in validating ICC procedures will remain to be questionable. Ayan, the principles of sovereignty and complementarity suggest that the Philippines should be given the opportunity to address these matters domestically before international intervention in, diba? Parang bago natin papasukin yung ICC, dapat meron tayo munang i-consider within our own country. Okay, so tingnan natin yung mga iba pang mga legal statute dito, no? Yun nga, yung Article 2 ng Constitution about yung DOJ, kasi merong quasi-judicial lang yan, no? Yung revised, ito pa, iba, yung Section 5, Rule 112 ng Revised Rules of Criminal Procedure. No complainant or information for an offense cognizable by any regional trial court shall be filed without a prior determination of probable cause by a judge. Dito sa atin, judge talaga hindi ang DOJ. So, yung intention of the law, parang you are trying to say na ang DOJ is enough. Pag ginawa mo yun, kaya mo ng, di ba? Pag nag-martial law, ganyan ang ginawa dati ni McCoy noong araw, the original McCoy, na pwede mo na hulihin na lang yung sino man tao, di ba? para makulong mo, di ba? Kasi nga, ang DOJ will be enough. Yun ang problema dun. Mare-railroad mo lahat ng mga tao, samantalang meron niyang right, no? So, Supreme Court ruling Salazar versus Achacoso, GR 81510, March 14, 1990. Only judges, not executive agencies like the DOJ, have authority to issue arrest warrants. Thus, any claim that DOJ is a competent authority under the Rome Statute lacks a strong basis even in Philippine law. So, the proper authority for issuing warrant against Duterte would be the Philippine court, not an international tribunal acting without domestic judicial involvement. So, really, kung makikita nyo, it's railroading. So, Rome Statute, Article 127, withdrawal and continuing jurisdiction. So, they withdrew March 17. A state shall not be discharged by reason of its withdrawal from the obligation arising from this statute while it was a party to the statute, including any matters which were already under consideration before the withdrawal. Okay, so okay yun, no? Yan yung contention dyan. However, jurisdiction is not absolute. Article 17 of the Rome Statute establishes the principle of complementarity, which states that the ICC can only prosecute if the national legal system is unwilling or unable to investigate. So ano yung sinasabi? Sa Prosecutor versus Gaddafi, sabi natin, the ICC itself recognized that if a state is actively investigating or prosecuting an individual for similar cases, the ICC must defer to the national judicial process unless clear non-compliance is demonstrated. Prosecutor versus Ruto, the ICC, 2011, no? 1/09, 1/11, 2011. The ICC acknowledged that an ongoing domestic prosecution precludes ICC jurisdiction, emphasizing the importance of national judicial process. So the Philippine government under Marcos Jr. has consistently argued that the domestic legal system is functioning. Kasi if he says it's not functioning, edi it's a failed state. Kung failed state yan, edi pwede tayo magtawag pala ng revolutionary government. Diba? So, nasa dalawang lang yan eh. So, tatanungin mo, Mr. Marcos, do we have a functioning legal system? Kung sagot niya, yes, o di bakit natin, it will negate the ICC jurisdiction. Without compelling proof that the Philippine judiciary is unable or unwilling to conduct investigation, the ICC should defer to Philippine courts. Number 3, the principle of sovereignty and non-interference of domestic affairs. UN Charter, sinabi na natin kanina yan. Bayan Muna, ito another one, no? Bayan Muna versus Romulo, GR number 159618, February 1, 2011. The court ruled that the international agreements and foreign interventions must not violate the sovereignty and constitutional process of the Philippines. Under these rulings, allowing an international tribunal like the ICC to issue a warrant and arrest a former president without exhausting domestic legal remedies violates both the Philippine constitutional sovereignty and established jurisprudence. So talagang no, culpable. Hindi naman culpable, pero in a way, di ba, violate mo yung procedure So wala siyang procedural due process. Number 4, the role of the DOJ in the proper legal mechanism of accountability. The DOJ role is primarily to investigate and recommend the filing of charges. It does not replace the judiciary in determining guilt or issuing warrants. The proper process for addressing alleged human rights violation, filing of complaints through the DOJ and Ombudsman, determination of probable cause by the RTC, and then trial and adjudication by the Philippine judicial system. Nowhere in that procedure is any mention of the ICC. You do not need the ICC intervention unless you are saying that this is a failed state and therefore we need international intervention. So therefore, with all due respect to the people who should know the law better than I do, the ICC warrant is an overreach. Only the Philippine courts have the constitutional authority to issue arrest warrants as reaffirmed by Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution on the revised rules of criminal procedure. And when we do receive any warrant, outside, of course, international, kailangan it should preclude the fact that the Philippines is no longer able or unwilling to prosecute a claim na hindi naman established under the Article 17 of the Rome Statute. Yan. So again, unless you're saying we are in a failed state, then you can go ahead with that. The state sovereignty and non-interference are well established under international law. We mentioned already the UN Charter. And then the DOJ does not have a legal authority to determine compliance and due process because it doesn't have the function that belongs solely to the Judiciary Department. So parang kung sasabihin mo na, yes, may quasi-function, hindi po it's a jurisdictional overreach. The Philippines must assert its right to resolve legal matters domestically through its own judicial system in accordance with the constitutional and international law. Ayan. So yan po yung mga natin. Ngayon, ang tanong natin dito, ito rin yung tanong ko actually. So, however, my next question would be, since he was already arrested, he's already there in Amsterdam, isn't this a case of parang butin academic na? If the Supreme Court ruled otherwise, sabi niya, hindi, mali yung nangyari. Di ba magkakaroon na tayo ng parang estopel na yan, no? Are we not estopped in this case? Di ba? That is an excellent question if we will look at it. Halimbawa, the Philippine Supreme Court were to rule that Duterte's arrest and transfer to the ICC violated the constitutional principles and jurisprudence. Ano ang magiging significance niyan? So the legal and diplomatic implications would be significant. However, if you will look at it, yung doctrine of estoppel may not necessarily bar the Philippines from challenging the situation. So tanong, are we in estoppel? In legal terms, estoppel prevents a party from taking a position contrary to what it previously accepted. Kasi inaccept na natin, binigay na natin siya, meron tayong competent authority, quote-unquote, yung police force nandun, di ba? So we already acted on that position and therefore, we are applying the estoppel in two ways, no? By conduct. If the Philippine authorities willingly cooperated in Duterte's arrest and transferred, then later objected, they could be stopped from challenging it. However, if Dutertes were arrested without explicit Philippine cooperation, in this case, through an international warrant executed outside the country, estoppel might not apply. Diba? Parang meron siya na-violate na procedure sa atin, so therefore, hindi siya mag-a-apply. By representation, if the Philippine government officially recognized ICC's jurisdiction at any point, even after withdrawal, it could be seen as a waiver of its jurisdictional challenge. However, pwede natin sabihin yun, estoppel, no? However, the Supreme Court's ruling would carry weight as the highest interpretation of the Philippine law. Magkakaroon tayo ng constitutional crisis dyan. It would potentially override prior executive action if the ruling finds that the Duterte's transfer violated constitutional rights or procedural due process. The Philippines could stake to challenge or reverse its ICC proceedings. Diba? So magkakaroon ka ng constitutional crisis kasi una sasabihin niya sa'yo, okay, are we saying that the courts are no longer functioning here? That's why you opted to transfer it to ICC. And you didn't even consult the courts here, you know? Just the nod of the police force and the DOJ is enough to transfer a former president nevertheless, di ba? So parang may problem tayo doon, no? So what could the government do next, no? So if for example, so maraming ifs to, no? So siyempre the Supreme Court will have the last say. If the Supreme Court declares Duterte's arrest unlawful, the Philippine government could file a diplomatic protest, no, with the ICC and demand his repatriation based on the UN Charter Article 2 verse 1, a violation of sovereignty, non-compliance with the Philippine legal process, and improper jurisdiction under the Rome Statute. This would require formal diplomatic engagement through the DFA. Ang problema, syempre, ang Marcos ang may hawak niyan, possibly involving the UN and the Dutch government kasi yung ICC is headquartered in The Hague, Netherlands. Another one, the petition for reversal or non-cooperation with the ICC. The Philippine government could formally withdraw any cooperation with the ICC, including refusing to assist in trial proceedings, preventing Philippine witness or evidence from being used, challenging ICC jurisdiction through international legal bodies. Although the ICC is an independent body, a lack of cooperation of the Philippines could significantly impact its ability to proceed with the case kasi walang witness na pupunta, di ba? Letter C, filing a case before the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. If diplomatic efforts fail, the Philippines could escalate the issue to the ICJ, arguing that number 1, Duterte's arrest violated Philippine sovereignty, the ICC overstepped its jurisdiction post-withdrawal, and then the due process under the Philippine law was violated. The ICJ, as the primary judicial organ of the UN, could issue an advisory opinion or even a binding ruling if both parties consent to its jurisdiction. Another thing is the habeas corpus petition before the ICC or Dutch courts. Yan ang much more direct legal route could be the filing of the writ of habeas corpus. Yan, no? Show the body, habeas corpus. The ICC pre-trial chamber arguing illegal detention, no? Illegal detention. Kasi wala kayong jurisdiction. And then the Dutch Supreme Court questioning the legality of Duterte's transfer under international law. Okay? While ICC's rulings generally provide domestic challenges, if a national Supreme Court, the Philippines or Netherlands, rules in favor of Duterte, it could create significant legal and domestic diplomatic pressure on the ICC. Now, tanong, can Duterte be released? If the Philippine Supreme Court, the ICJ, or Dutch court rules in Duterte's favor, the ICC would face a legal and diplomatic crisis. Possible outcomes, ICC resists. The court refuses to recognize the Philippine ruling, proceeding with the case. This could lead into a major international standoff. ICC complies. The ICC could recognize the ruling and release Duterte, but this would set a precedent that could weaken its authority in future cases. O yan ang gagawin nila pag nirelease nila, sabi niya, okay, wala pala kayong value, di ba? Political negotiation, a compromise may be reached where Duterte is returned to the Philippines under a promise of domestic prosecution. Yan ang pwede, no? Presidents, ang tanong dito, meron na ba nangyaring ganyan? Has this happened before? Meron po, may mga nangyari ng ganyan, no? Where the governments have resisted ICC actions. Sudan and Umar al-Bashir, 2015, despite an ICC arrest warrant, Sudan refused to hand over al-Bashir, and African Union states supported Sudan's position, leading to a stalled prosecution. Actually, yun nga yung nangyari, kaya hindi nila na-prosecute for a long time. Kenya and Uhuru Kenyatta in 2014, Kenya refused to cooperate fully, leading to the ICC dropping the charges against Kenyatta due to a lack of evidence. Those examples suggest that a strong political and legal resistance by the Philippines could pressure the ICC to reconsider Duterte's case. Pero gusto nating sabihin, no, na dito sa point na to, ang pinopoint lang natin is yung estoppel could be argued, no? If the Philippine government initially cooperated with ICC and then the Supreme Court ruling against the legality of Duterte's arrest could override previous action. The government would have multiple options to challenge the situation, including diplomatic protest, withdrawal of cooperation, appeals to the ICJ, sabi nga natin, and then the legal petition before the ICC and the Dutch courts. The most likely outcome would depend on the political pressure. If the Philippines aggressively defends its sovereignty, walang magagawa, ICC could be forced to renegotiate or reconsider Duterte's detention, di ba? Pag hindi nangyari yon, di tuloy ang laban, no? So magtutuloy yung hearing, September naka-slate, no? So it would be that case. Ayun, ang tanong na nga lang dyan is either si Marcos government, would it support? Titinan muna kasi ang mangyayari dyan, the Supreme Court will listen first to the contention of the judiciary, the executive. Sabi niya hindi, ang DOJ merong right, okay? And then they will listen also to the contention naman ng nag-file, no, yung Duterte family, etc. And then it will proclaim what it deemed proper. Of course, in the end, it's the wisdom of the Supreme Court judges that we submit to. Because in the end, they know better than us. Who are we? Diba? So they have the best purview in this case. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.